Well, she said she did not see it. All right.
Welcome to another episode of
CJ
CJ Honesty.
Honesty.
Listen, we are going live on Facebook. It's our first time. We was trying to connect to PVOD, PVCom.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's some kind of technical difficulties going on with that, but we're gonna continue just going live then since we was already
Yes.
going live anyways.
So my name is I'm your host, Christina.
And I'm your host, Jonathan. And this is CJ Honesty. And on this podcast, we talk about relationships, but not just romantic relationships, but family relationships, relationships with your friends or family or your coworkers, just relationships, period, from your childhood on up to being an adult. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
let's just start. And then you know what? We also talk about we've talked about some multiple things on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've had professional guests on the show, from pastors and ministers to, you know, we're planning on getting psychiatrists. We're gonna have an actor come on soon.
Yeah, we're gonna
next
have
week.
experts. We usually talk about relationships, not just romantic relationships, but about family and friendships
Yeah.
and everything that you can think of. Where we're open to talking about different things from different perspectives.
Yeah, and then
Different topics.
we always just put like a splash of Jesus on there, you know, because that's our personal belief. And then we always just leave the floor open for whoever wants to come on the show and discuss anything. So today we are talking about what is most needed in millennial relationships.
Yes, we notice that in today's relationships is very toxic.
Yeah.
And we want to explore why. It's a reason why a lot of people are still single, and while a lot of people cannot find someone suitable for themselves.
Yeah, you hear a lot of people saying that, you know, they don't want to be married. They don't like the idea of marriage anymore. Nobody trusts anybody that they're loyal or that they can, you know, be with somebody without the other person, you know, in somebody else's DMs or or, you know, just being faithful to one another. So let's get into it then.
If you see us in the Pavicom, kudos to you, but we're gonna move on. So you want to start?
Yeah, so basically what is needed in the millennials relationships, and we're kind of taking some of the stuff that me and Christina already had from our principle that we have in our principle list that we have in our personal relationship with each other.
We have 21 principles on our list.
We just took some of those and put it on what could be significant to the millennials on today, what we think they could really use, you know, because that's what we use for our relationship. It might not necessarily work for everybody, but we think it's like a good foundation to build your relationship on if you're in a romantic relationship. Even you can apply that to any kind of relationship though, but mostly like romantic relationships.
And if you want to check it out, it's from season 1, episode 10 is our episode where we talk about our principles. So check it out.
Yeah, so the first one we got on the list for what is needed most in millennial relationships is listening more.
Do you think I listen?
Yeah, you listen. We both try to make it a point that even when we feel like if we're not listening to each other more, we take time out to try to, you know, pause in our conversations with each other and actually hear what the person is saying and not just, you know, hearing to figure out what your reaction is going to be to whatever the person is saying, but you're actually listening to the person's emotions and their feelings and trying to get an understanding of, you know, what is the person saying? What are they trying to convey to you? you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think people react instead of respond more than, so that falls under listening. You need to be an active listener instead of react reacting to what someone's saying. You always have you always have something to say. Every little thing someone says, you just like coming up with something to say. So that's not really a good thing because you're not listening to what the other person has to say. If you just have constantly just thinking in your mind what you want to say, and you're not even being an active listener. Yeah. So yeah, listen more. I mean, a lot of people want to. It's good to listen to your partner because a lot of people want to be listened. You want to say, and you're not even being an active listener. Yeah. So, and why do I hear myself talking in the headphones?
Because I was doing something on Facebook trying to figure something out. It's okay.
That distracted me. You need to listen to what I'm saying.
I was listening.
Okay. So I lost my train of thought.
Listening to each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
so getting back to what I was saying, listening to each other, and like people want to be like their perspective be heard and their whatever they want to say, you know.
Yeah.
So it's good to listen. Listen to your partner.
Definitely.
All right. So next on our list is respect each other, and that goes a long way.
Yeah.
And because everybody seek respect. Like everybody you have to respect your partner, whether it's whatever they're saying that they believe in, you need to respect whatever their I don't know, their thoughts are. Also respect who they are as well. That falls under who they are. And you just, respect goes a long way. I think that a lot of people lack respect in relationships nowadays. And the disrespect that I see on social media is out of pocket, first of all. And especially I see, actually, it's not just men talk about women, it's women talk about men too. It's both sides that I see. I just be reading stuff and I'm like, wow, that's so disrespectful. And if we just continue to do that, then I mean, that's like we're normalizing disrespect. I mean, it's been like that for a while, but when we're gonna break, this and start being respectful,
So when you say being respectful, are you talking about when you see somebody's talking about what's wrong with the other, or are you saying like disrespectful as far as calling each other names?
Oh, I'm talking all that falls under it, under this category. Whether you like calling each other names out of their name, or whether you're talking about somebody or your partner, if you talk about them a certain way, or I'm talking about in general, like men talk about women. And then women talk about men. So if it's like that, then how you would expect for people to be respectful in a relationship if that's what you see online a lot?
I think it's nothing wrong with construction criticism where if you're saying, well, if you're trying to have a conversation to see how the other opposite sex can treat you better, how you guys should talk to one another, there's nothing wrong with having a dialect. But I think it gets disrespectful when you start again calling each other names and you don't do this and you don't do that. You don't do this and you don't do that it can be said in a way. Just make sure you say it in a respectful way where your dialogue, your body language, everything like that when it pertains to having respect for that person, listening to what the other person is saying and not, hearing just to respond, So, but the next thing that we have on the list for what we think that millennials really need in their relationships now is honesty. That honesty kind of comes with like just being straightforward and not letting your actions like contradict what you say.
Wait, hold on, John. Can you make this? Well, you see that?
What's that?
Yeah, I make it public. Go to your phone. That's yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Hold on. Yeah, go. That's what happened. Go to your profile. Go to the live. You gotta change your privacy. Go to the live. You have to go to your profile, and then you have to go here and edit privacy. That's why they couldn't see it. See that? Now you see that icon. It's public. Yeah, we're just trying to figure something out, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, it
Anyways.
didn't say it. It said public on the computer, but didn't say public on the phone.
Yeah, you had to change that. That's why. That's what happened. Well, lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they want to just continue with,
Yeah, they already said they're gonna put it in someone in their place.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
So honesty, being straightforward with one another, you know, I think with honesty, some people don't think that you should talk about relationships that you've been in the past or what you've done in the past, you know, mistakes that you made in the past. Just move forward with who you two are now and everything. But I don't think that's honesty, you know, me personally, because anything can come up from your past, and you don't never want your past to catch up with you in your present. You don't want your past sneaking up on you or trying to, you know, ruin what you have now. So I think that's why it's important to whoever you're in a relationship now that you both be honest with, you know, who and who you was with and what mistakes that you've made in the past. So all of that is on down the line. Now, of course, there's a time limit on when you should probably be talking about that with your whoever your partner is. You know, you kind of just got to feel that out for yourself. You know, use your discernment for people who are out there as far as being Christian. Use your discernment on when you should even be telling the person that, you know, you got to, of course, you get to know the person and everything first before you tell them all of your business and everything. Once you see that you're getting into talking about marriage and everything like that, that's when you need to talk about some of the things that you've been through, some of the things that you've done that was wrong, some of the things, people that you was with, you know, just so nothing, you know, the enemy loves to creep his way in and try to tear apart things that are good, you know. So in order to stop him before he even has an opportunity, you tell the truth before the enemy tells his truth, you know. And I think the enemy is really good at telling like 90% of the truth, and he only needs like 10% of a lie to make the whole thing just, you know, fall apart.
And for those who don't know what the enemy is, who's the enemy?
Satan.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We just want to make that clear.
We actually just on my Facebook now anyway, because they not
we
not
on the
we was in a
group.
Yeah, we was in a group, and
sorry guys,
they were supposed to be streaming to that group, but something happened with the technical stuff and they didn't. I don't know what happened. So somebody help me out with that, because apparently when I go live on my Facebook, it said I was public when I got on the laptop, but then when I got on my phone, it said that my
you have
profile,
to make sure on Facebook you have to. I just showed you have to change it. Edit privacy.
No, I'm
from
saying
friends to public.
Yeah, I'm saying that on.
I mean, on theirs, but
on the
like
laptop,
she was actually looking at your profile.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that on the laptop it was saying I was public though, but on the phone it wasn't public.
It's probably two different settings.
I didn't know that
but first of all, I don't think it was right. Actually, I'm not going to try to put them on blast, but I don't think it was right because we didn't even do a dry run. Okay.
Oh yeah, they wanted us to do it ourselves.
Yeah, I was like, that's not even how. Actually, we're gonna be invited to other ones, so I'm not worried. We're gonna be invited to other ones. We can always do some other ones. It's a whole bunch out there. Podcast world, it's a whole podcast world for podcasters. So I'm not worried about it. But anyways, if you are tuning in, I hope that you're learning something and you're enjoying this. But sorry that we are not. If you're trying to look, if you join the group, then we're not in there. So just go to our YouTube channel. That's all I have to say. If you want to look, but this video will be up.
Yeah, I'll just keep it up.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, and yeah, all right. So we're moving on to communication.
Communication and what is most needed in millennial relationships.
Yeah, so communication is a big one because it connects with listening more, right? If we don't listen to each other, then our communication is not going to be effective. You have to be an active listener in order to respond properly to whatever that person's saying or appropriately. And most of the time our communication involves, like, I know a lot of people don't listen, so a lot of people in our generation, we speak up. We're not afraid to tell how we feel, say how we feel, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah, what you mean as far as like
we're more outspoken. Well, that I know of, because
that to communication.
No, I'm saying we're more. I'm saying with the you talking about listening more, or no, communication?
Communication.
I'm saying communication. I'm connecting it with communication because if you outspoken, you're not going to like care what anybody say. Well, some people don't. They just want to like speak out, like they're outspoken, but they just kind of like say how they feel. Like a lot of us in our generation say how we feel. We always in our feelings.
Yeah.
And with that, we not have given the other person the opportunity to listen to them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
it connects with, like, communication connects with listening.
I think communication. I mean, that goes right back to what we was talking about before with the respect thing. You know, as long as you guys are respecting each other when you have communication, I don't think anything is wrong with being outgoing, or, you know, like you were saying, like with this generation, they're not afraid to say things.
Yeah, they're not afraid
to have communication. But here's the thing, though: if you're gonna have communication. Don't start doing other stuff. You know, that you're not having communication where you're doing physical things and everything like that. I don't want to get into that, but.
What you mean, violence?
Yeah, like violence and stuff like that, with stuff that's going out now in the world. You know, it's been past 2 years, but it's been forever. But, you know, mainly past 2 years, what's been going on through the pandemic and stuff that's been coming up between different races of people and different denominations of churches and everything like that.
Did you hear about what happened with the Asian?
At first, I didn't even know what everybody was talking about because I don't get on social media like that. But when I did, I just happened to get on there. Everybody's talking about
these women,
save Asians, or, you know,
they were shot.
Yeah,
and most of them were Asian.
I heard about that once I had looked into it to see what everybody was talking about. Apparently, a young male, not that color really matters, but young white male,
okay,
a young white male came in there and shot. Was it six?
It was like six. Yeah, but where was this? I didn't really.
I don't know where. It was.
But
I
it's a shame.
Look up all that.
Yeah, but getting back to communication. Yeah, like,
I don't know if that's communication. I think that's being vocal. What you're talking about, you saying?
Well, no, it's part of being communicating, though. It's part of communication. Like, if you always just care about, you always care about what you're saying and being like, you know, it's fine to be outspoken, but like, if you don't have effective communication with that person, it's not gonna work. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, but I was talking about, if you're talking about in a sense of relationships where you're talking about black or white, communication is when you're actually sitting down with somebody, or you're with somebody else, and you two are having a communication, not really you speaking out. Like if you go live on CNN or live on Fox or whatever it is, and kind of speak. I don't know if that's communication. Now you're being vocal, like you're expressing yourself, but I don't. If you're not having a dialogue where you're going back and
That's
forth,
what I'm saying.
mm,
That if that's exactly what I'm saying, if you're not able to do that, you're
mm,
just saying how you feel and not weren't listening to that other person, and it's not effective communication.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
So
So
that's what I
I
mean.
think
That
we had that's our problem. We
yeah,
haven't
that's what I'm saying.
with both of all of the races. I didn't mean racist like somebody being racist. I meant racist like different denominations of race of people, like Asian, black, white.
Racial groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
So I think that's our problem is that we get on CNN, we get on Fox or whatever it is, and we have again we don't listen to one another. We don't really respect one another. We're not straightforward or honest with one another. We're vocal with our how we feel about things, but nobody's really listening. They're just waiting their turn to talk and everything. That's the problem. Even with romantic relationships, that's a problem in um, some of the churches nowadays, and just all around relationships that people have with their family and their friends. That's what a lot of people are figuring out right now, and the COVID situation and being in quarantine, being at home with their family, where a lot of people are working less than what they was doing or doing less, going out less than what they was before. So now you're around your family, you're finding out that now you got to actually be around your family and talk to them more, and you're spending more time around them. And a lot of people are not doing well, around people that they was around before, because you wasn't really around them, you was never really home. So a lot of people are not doing well right now.
You're talking about with the romantic, with being in a relationship.
Yeah, being any kind of relationship, romantic relationship with your family, your friends.
But in this case, it would be romantic.
Romantic. We stand on romantic, but romantic, even romantically, I don't think that people might be struggling with it because they're not going out as much. You have to find a way to spend money. Spend time on each other without spending the money that you probably would if we wasn't on quarantine and everything like that. So you have to find a way. You have to actually have communication with each other. You have to actually talk to each other without there being an outing per se. Like you normally when a romantic couple goes out or when they're communicating, they're going out somewhere to feel that space of you're having fun. You're going to Dave and Buster's and Six Flags and stuff like that. And you're not really communicating. You're going to the movies and stuff. You don't really talk at the movies.
Oh yeah, you talking about activities that doesn't
like
involve
dates.
dialogue.
You're going on dates that don't even really involve dialogue.
Unless you go out to eat, that's when you can talk.
Yeah,
like you gotta face that person. You eating your food.
Yeah.
What you gonna say to? You just gonna sit there and not say nothing to each other? That's kind of awkward. I can't. I like to talk, so I can't just sit in silence. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
You and me. Imagine us doing that, and you and me eating. We're not saying nothing.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so that can happen though. People go through those moments, those times in their relationship.
Yeah,
that's not good. All right, so that's what we believe that we millennials need to work on is communication. All right, so next is understanding, and we put understanding because I think sometimes we don't take the time to understand our partner. This goes with in reference to love languages. This goes to understanding how they operate, like their personality. Actually, this goes beyond the physical. Like you need to know your partner. You need to understand them, not their bodies, like the physical part. That's nice and dandy, but what's beyond that? Like what do you understand? Like really understand about them, And I feel like um millennials need to definitely we need to work on that because I think that
Well,
people
a lot
go
of
based
people.
on the physical more
Yeah,
than really understanding that person.
yeah.
Because like I read I'm always I be on my phone a lot, so I always read about like what people post and a lot sometimes, especially women, we they post a lot about the physical part of the man.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a particular one that they always focus on, but I'm not going to get into that one part. Because first of all, that's messed up. First of all, we should like we need to. Do we have that on our list? No, we need to accept. That's another principle, but we don't have that. But we need to accept the person we're with. Like you can't be comparing other men to the with other men and what they offer physically because everybody's made up differently genetically. Not to say genetically, physically, biologically. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't. And then the men be feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah,
Because, and then now you see why they act the way they do with us. They just they don't care about women because it's like some don't care about women because they put them down. They just and then they just want to like have sex with them. That's it. They don't care about the other part, which is the deeper part to it. So we need to get back to really understand that person. And also, if you're looking for something serious, it's important to understand them and get to know that person instead of the physical part. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think as a whole, millennials and whoever, what is the generation after millennials?
Gen Z, not Gen Z. No, it's not
no,
Gen.
Gen Z is before.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
get into all
know.
that.
We don't.
But
Anyways,
all the names and stuff.
it's
But yeah,
the
our
kids after
generation,
1997.
I'm 28, so
I'm 29.
my generation, and then the generation after my generation, they mostly they start off with the physical, sex, and it's it's crazy because they put that first.
Yep.
And then that kind of clouds your judgment on the person. Not even just speaking from a Christian standpoint, but just speaking from person in general. When you're talking about psychologically, that's not. It's not wise to start off with that. When you do that, you have no clear understanding of the person. All you can really human naturally think about is the part where you're physical with the person. So if you're just thinking about how good that experience was with that person, now all you can think about is that instead of actually being able to judge that person's character, right, or discern that person's character, right, and seeing that they're right for you.
Yeah.
Do you guys line up in what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve in your life? Is this person not a crazy person?
Ooh, they say that the people who are crazy are good physically. The best physically and best.
I think that's just probably like one of them toxic things.
The toxic stuff, the toxicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what they say. I cannot. I don't know about that, but because I think but you know what? I think we all have a little craziness to us, in us.
Well,
you don't think you say I'm crazy sometimes? Maybe that's the good crazy or the bad crazy. No, the good crazy. Most of the time, it's the good crazy.
Yeah.
But don't be messing with my man, my food, and my money, because I'll go crazy. They don't want to see that side. All right. Anyways, moving on to, is it your turn?
I think understanding it's and then
accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have that problem. I think some of us. I'm not going to generalize, but I notice we do because we don't like to be wrong. Right? Can you agree that we don't? I don't like to be wrong. I really don't like to be wrong. And there's some, we have to be like able to own up to the wrong things that we do to people and like how we treat them. Because like I said, we just care, like some millennials, they just care about themselves. They just go for themselves. At the end of the day, they don't care about anybody else. Okay. And also they don't own up to their crap. Who want to be with somebody like that? First of all, not me. That's toxic.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to that being honest with with one another and everything, as far as having accountability. Be accountable for when you make mistakes. When you said something wrong. A lot of people even today just have problems with apologizing for when they do something wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know why. It's almost like just a sense of pride that everybody has now. That they're the right ones, and everybody else is wrong. That's just how everybody thinks nowadays. So just having accountability for your own actions and your own flaws and characters. I think part of that has to do with trusting one another. Trusting people, right? A lot of people got trust issues now, so they don't want to. That leaves yourself not being able to be accountable for or vulnerable, rather, with with who you are as a person and your mistakes and everything, because you don't want to. You're scared that if your flaws get out there, anything like that, that it's not going to be right.
Oh, also, people are when it comes to let's get into the next thing that kind of leads into trust. You talked about people having trust issues, and the reason why, because they've been hurt so much, and like for those who don't take accountability for what they've done to people, and like it's simply as saying sorry. I know that maybe depending on the situation, maybe sorry is not enough. Okay, but at least they show verbally. Excuse me, it show verbally to that person that they own up to it. Okay, like they're saying it out of their mouths. Because some people say, "Oh well, sorry is not enough." Okay, so it's a start. Okay, so but yeah, trust, in our generation is that's what we need to work on. And not having trust issues is a problem because I think it's partially part of the whole technology, like social media world, that I don't think social media is toxic. I think the way we use it is toxic sometimes. Like with now they have a vanish mode on Instagram. So like you could be talking to somebody on the down low, and then boom, hit it, vanish, like nothing happened. So I can see, why we have trust issues, because social media have these different options or different features where you can do that. Without physically seeing that person, we have communication is like fast now. Like you can easily communicate with someone right away. Anyone in the world, actually. It don't have to be in your area. It would be someone in another state or another country. So that's why we have problems with trusting, because of all this hurt that people is carrying. And also, if you didn't, last episode we had was the childhood trauma. So that is it could be part of that too, as well, with childhood trauma and leading to romantic relationship as well. So we definitely, and the only way we can work on that is, like we said in our last episode, is to seek therapy. And if you are believe in God and you're Christian, whatever your belief in, then you have to pray. Pray to God to help you with those trust issues
Yeah.
that you have, and just to overcome it.
Mm.
Because you know what, and another thing, what's interesting is that we automatically don't trust people, but why won't we just give someone a chance to trust them? Because don't isn't it the way it works? Don't someone have to do something for you not to trust them, right?
I
Instead
mean,
of
it's not
automatically not
supposed to
trust
be,
them.
but I mean, most people go in there with their guards up anyway. So, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I admit I have some trust issues sometimes, but I worked on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the next one is balance.
balance. You said bounce?
Balance.
Oh, balance. Okay.
Balance.
Balance.
So you want to tell what did you mean by balance? I don't remember putting
We
that
have that
on the
on our.
list.
Yes, we did.
Oh wow.
Yes, we did.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
You
what?
forgot.
So balance. What are we
Balance.
balancing? We gotta go back over that again. So
We're
balance
balancing. Um. Okay, so I would say balancing like our social life and
in
work
work.
life. Yeah.
That's the only thing. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also friends. Well, social life includes your
Okay,
friends.
yeah,
Do you get
got
what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Yeah, I got you now.
No, let me tell you why we put that, because the balance includes having attention. Where is your attention going to? All right, because people, we do want, in a relationship, we want to give our partner attention. And if you notice, when you don't get attention, that's when things start falling apart. So you need to balance it. You can't always be hanging out with your friends and not your partner.
Right.
You can't always hang out with your well, I see this a lot. You can't hang out with your partner all the time and not your friends.
Yeah, I mean, time. I guess everybody needs time in order for a relationship to grow or for it to stay steady where it should be.
Yep.
I'm gonna move to the next one because I didn't even realize that. You know what? I didn't even realize we had that on there.
You didn't know?
No,
we did. Actually, I looked over our list, and I just pulled out the ones that I think would.
Normally, I do look back over like the list before we do it, but we were so busy.
Yeah.
This weekend. But the next one is balance. So, well, no, not balance. I'm looking at the wrong one. Submission. So submission. A lot of people have trouble with that word, anyways. But submission.
Oh, we move on to submission.
Yeah,
Okay.
submission.
Oh.
So
This is a big one.
give an example because a lot of people have not a healthy look at what submission is, especially for my ladies out there. They
For
don't
women, us
women.
women.
They don't have a healthy look at submission. When you say the word submission, it sounds weak. It sounds like somebody's trying to put you down.
It sounds like someone's trying to control you.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's trying to control you. But submission is when you actually care about somebody, and instead, let me use a very, very, very small example. Submission is simple as if somebody wants to go to, if you want, let's say you want to go to Wendy's, but the other person wants to go to Burger King. Submission is you going to Burger King instead of you going to Wendy's when you want to go to Wendy's. When the other person wants to go to Burger King, that's submission. Is when you're putting your feelings to the side and sake for the other person. Submission is also can help you with your pride. If that person is a true leader, it's a difference between being a leader and being a boss. A boss is somebody that kind of just tells you what to do, whereas a leader doesn't just tell you what to do, but they can show you what to do, and they've done what they're already telling you to do. They're good at respecting you as they're telling you what to do. They're good at listening to you. You're good at being honest. All of those things has to do with that. So I would say, with submitting yourself to one another, and that's what the Bible says anyway. As far as being in a romantic relationship, while submitting to their husbands, but also actually says that husbands submit to their wives in a way as well. But we also, but on top of that, you also have to love her as Christ loved the church. So I think a lot of people miss that part in that scripture where it says the wife is to be submissive to her husband, but it also says that they're supposed to be submissive to each other. I think a lot of people miss that part, but I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I wonder where that comes from with just women submitting to the men.
I think they submit in different ways.
But why is it always focused on the women submitting to the man? That's what people get. That's why women don't like it, because they look at it that way, from that perspective. They never no one ever acknowledged that it should be both ways. It's always the woman submitting to the man. Why? Where does that come from? Why are we just focus on that?
Oh, it sounds like they were just trying to give an equal. Because if you count like what the two things are, because we were still do two things: submit and to love the wife as Christ loved the church. So that's two things compared to the one thing where she's just told to be submissive. So I guess to maybe even now you cut the part out where you got to be submissive to her. Not in a sense. I think people have the wrong definition of submissive. Being submissive as well too, though. Doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's controlling you. Being submissive is when you putting somebody else's feelings before you.
Well, we definitely need to work on that. Definitely. Okay, so next is connection. Connection. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say to that. Wait. I got to get my thoughts together on that. All right, so connection. I think we are good at networking. That's connection, right? Branding, all that. But when it comes to romantic relationships, having a connection, a true connection, is where we lack. And that's why I've heard people get married and then next year they divorce. Why? Because they don't have a true connection.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I say we need to get away from the physical part. Physical is good, but we need to get deeper now. Actually, now at this point, all of us is almost 30, right?
Yeah.
We're almost 30, close to 30. We don't have time to be doing whatever, like in our 20s, early 20s. We need, now is the time to, all right, what do you want? Do you want this, do you feel like you are connected to this person? Maybe you're physically connected to them. That's called having soul ties. Okay, that's another thing. Most people hear about that, but that's you're physically connected to them, but are you have that true connection to that deeper connection to them, where it's you get what I'm saying? I can't. For the lack of words, I cannot find a word for this. But if you can help me out, you get what I'm trying to say.
Connecting and who each other characters are.
Understanding them.
Understanding the person as far as connecting, as far as knowing what your likes are and dislikes, and what you have planned for in your life.
I have a good one.
Where you're going? Yeah, go ahead.
Knowing, and also if they align to your purpose.
Yeah.
I have to clap for that for myself, because that's a word. Because or they aligned to your purpose. Okay, I just got who talks like that, B Simone. Anyway, so for real, like you need to look at that. Do they align to your path? Or are they supposed to be in your life? Or is it someone you chose just because they got in bed? Or they give you nice things,
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what a lot of people judge their
that's deep, man. When you think about
relationships
wow.
Yeah.
That's deep. Do you agree with that? Will you want to add something to that?
I mean, I would say connect in your hearts and in your mind, even if for people who are not Christians, if you're not gonna wait, then which most people haven't, if you're not gonna wait, at least connect in your mind and in your path in your life before you connect in a physical way. Because it clouds your judgment on the person, and it clouds just looking at do you two line up. It's hard for some people to tell if you're in love or if you're just lusting after the person. If you want the person around just because you're lonely, or do they really, not complete but complement who you are as a person and where you're going in life. That's that connection. Do you have that connection where you can understand how each other talks to one another and where you're coming from, your dialogue? Can you understand one another?
Another, I'm gonna get deep, but like also if you have a spiritual connection as well. You can connect with someone spiritually.
You talking about being unequally yoked? Or what are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about that is part of it. Yeah. But I'm talking about spiritually connected, as in like you're able to like you both love God.
Oh,
both
yeah.
pray with each other.
So
you pray over each other. You get what I'm saying? That's the connection. Yeah. You don't think so? Or you do?
No, that's what I was. That's the same thing. It's being, unequally yoked. You're not. One of you are in the club, and the other one is,
going to church and stuff.
You going to church? That's not going to work out. So, or if one of you you're a Christian, the other person is Muslim. That's not gonna work out either. I mean, you can I know. I have seen
together with different religious beliefs.
Yeah, I seen that as well. They don't last, but I mean, I have seen it is in the Bible where if you're already married to a non-believer, then how Bible talks about, I believe it was Paul saying, don't leave the person, because how do you know if you're gonna get the person saved or not by you being an example of Christ?
Yeah. You mean convince them or convict them or something? It's like
not necessarily convincing them, but
persuading.
Not persuading either.
Okay, maybe I'm finding not the right word.
Kind of like how when children look up to their parents, more so being an example and being an influence, being a why can't I find a word for that? Yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue too, but
for lack of words, being influence.
Yeah, being an influence, for lack of better words. Yeah. So just being an influence on somebody's life when they keep looking at how you're living your life for Christ and everything, and seeing, the ins and out of that, and you not compromising, you not doing anything that they're doing. I think you can pull that person in by that way. But if you're just dating and you're not married, if you're just dating, then I wouldn't suggest getting into something where somebody you believe in Jesus and somebody else believes in Buddha or something like that. That's not going to work
Buddhism?
out. Yeah, that's not going to work out. So, it's one thing if the person is backsliding or something, like a backsliding Christian, like if you're dating a backsliding Christian or something like that. But if you just getting into something where somebody talking about they don't believe at all, that's a whole you getting yourself into something where it's not gonna work out.
I'll be trying to figure out how do they raise their kids when people have different religious beliefs.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, I want to talk to somebody who we need to find a couple who.
Well, here's the thing: the person who was a Christian and you married, let's say if you're a Christian and you married or you're dating somebody and then you end up marrying them as well. Yeah. Somebody, let's just say it's somebody who worships Buddha. It has to, and I'm not somebody who judges. I'm not somebody who, condemns and everything. But when I say this, but that Christian is probably a lukewarm Christian themselves. If they're going to compromise their belief and their God, who they believe in, to be with a person, and that person is going to have your kids worshiping a whole nother spirit or a whole nother being, you're compromising your belief for that person probably don't even necessarily know, because a lot of people nowadays with the whole Christian thing, Christian is now a title that you just slap on your name. I come to find that out as well with just being around people. A lot of people don't actually live that life of, following Christ or anything like that. They slap that name Christian on them because I even come across people who say they Christian and you find out they believe in God, but they don't really believe in Jesus. And I'm like, that.
They're like, isn't that Catholics? Do they believe in Jesus?
Catholics,
but they worship Mary though.
Technically they say that Catholic is a form of Christianity, but they worship Mary.
Yeah. So do they believe in Jesus?
They believe in Jesus. I don't think they believe he
was the Son of God.
Yeah, I think it was just the prophet.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot what religion don't believe in. Actually, what, Buddhism, I guess, right?
Well, most of them. Christianity is the only really it's the only religion that believes that Jesus was the Son of God. Everybody else kind of just either thinks that he was a prophet, either he wasn't real or he was just a prophet. Yeah. Most of the other religions say that he's just a prophet, but he didn't die. Like, I don't understand that part where you can look at the Bible and say, okay, I'm gonna take this part from it where he's doing all these miracles and stuff like that. He's a prophet, but the part where it says he died on the cross, I'm gonna cut that part out.
But you know who I thought about when you said with the unevenly yoked and stuff, about how Christians are lukewarm when it comes to their beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought about Joseph. Remember how he was like he was all about God. It was a Joseph. He got sold into
slavery.
Yeah, by his brothers.
Yeah.
So he was all about God. Like, literally, they was like, bow down to this statue, and he was like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's what we gotta need to be. Like, I'm not believing that.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. You gotta be strong in it. You can't be lukewarm. You have to be real strong in it.
I think some people get so lonely too that they're willing to compromise their faith a little bit in order to be with somebody. You shouldn't do that as well.
So let's connect this. So getting back to connection, do you think that's having a true connection?
I don't
you
see
think it's
how,
a little bit of a gap, like it's a little bit of a disconnect, right? Yeah, that is part of disconnect. We don't, you can't, and I feel like we millennials need to look into that, like, especially if you're a Christian nowadays. Were you willing to sacrifice your beliefs for someone else?
Right. Or, and then if you're a Christian, I think you also got to ask yourself, do you really believe in what you believe in? Because if you're willing to put that aside in order to be with another human being, you got to ask yourself, do you really believe that Jesus was the Son of God? Do you really believe that he died on the cross for yourself? I think you got to not just examine your relationship with him, and you need to examine yourself, take time out to really find out who you are. Because if you're willing to compromise here and compromise there, then it's like, you know,
Then are you?
I think the person would respect you more too if you wasn't willing to do any of those um compromising things. You know, well, I think a lot of Christians don't realize that, but I think to begin with the Christian just getting into that, they probably to begin with wasn't really right with their relationship with God in the first place
Or
for
they
them
could have
to.
backslided, right?
Well, I
That
think
could be
I
a
think
backslider.
backsliding, um, like kind of what you seen like with um, what's I forgot his name, Kurt Franklin. You seen him cursing
Oh,
and stuff
that
like that. I don't know if that I
situation.
wouldn't call that backsliding, but
That's
it's
not
like
backsliding, but
making mistakes or whatever. He got caught in his anger and stuff. But
yeah,
for
it caught in anger.
people who that was a bad example. But people Christians who like, so you're in church, you are I don't know, you're ministering or you're singing or you're doing whatever it is. You're praying and reading and fasting like you're supposed to, but then you go off this thing where something happens in your life and you start now you for whatever reason, let's say you going to I don't know to the club or something. You're
Yeah.
going to the club or you starting I don't know smokes. I'm just making stuff up. Smoke cigarettes or drinking or doing whatever. You just backsliding again. You're hanging with the wrong people again. But you know what the truth is. I think that's backsliding. Whereas somebody who you're being with, whereas if you're a Christian, you're somebody just being with somebody who just don't believe in what you believe in at all. That's two different things. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
if I it's one thing when you're dating somebody who is backsliding and but they know that Jesus is real, but they just like in a hard time and they in their life and they need to just come back, like kind of like the prodigal son, where you just need to come back to where you're supposed to be.
But also when you backslide, you compromise. You start compromising too.
Well,
Because
yeah, of
I
course.
did
That's
that.
what
Yeah.
that person who is backsliding is knowing that compromising their belief in what they know in order to feel good
Fulfill or
in
satisfy
in
someone else.
yeah in the
Yeah.
moment,
Mhm.
But as far as being with somebody, excuse me, as far as being with somebody who don't believe at all, in what you believe in, I think that's definitely no connection there.
Mm. Yeah, it's a lot. We gotta get together. You gotta figure out if you have a connection with this person. Maybe I would just suggest to evaluate that for those who are in a relationship right now,
Yeah.
or even if you starting to feeling somebody right now. I would like be like, do you really have a connection with this person? Like, do you see it going anywhere?
Right.
If not, just move on. Just move on. So next on our list is patience. And we have patience on our list because we were brought in a time where we want everything right away. And everything is like microwavable, right?
Yeah.
When you put something in the microwave, boom, that's it. It's done in like 2 minutes.
Right.
Right? We want it right away.
They want everything right here.
You want someone to be a certain way right away. You want someone to, I don't know, treat you a certain like really good right away. Right. Okay, but if they have all these problems before, you should you need to you have two options. You can work it out with them, like work through it with them and be patient, or you don't have to do that and just move on. Right?
Yeah.
But basically I'm saying things take time and that we can't always have something right away.
Yeah.
When we want it,
Yeah.
This is not McDonald's. It's not gonna come out all fresh and all hot right away.
Yeah, you gotta be patient.
And I love some hot food. It gotta be hot.
Yeah, but you gotta be patient with the person.
Yeah.
Whoever you're with, just in figuring out who they are and with them trying to figure out who they are, and once even if you do know who you are, you still have moments where you're constantly growing. That's why when people say, "Oh, we grew apart," well, you're constantly. I never got that because
Yeah, I never understood that.
as a person, you are constantly where you should be, constantly growing. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You're always learning something
evolving
and evolving. Your mind is constantly learning and growing, and you're learning and having the different experiences. So you're constantly growing as a person. So the whole growing apart, well, we grew apart thing doesn't really make sense. What you really meant is that you tried to make something work that you knew that wasn't gonna work. That you two probably had different beliefs or different ways of thinking about life, and you thought that you could just mash it together, but you found out that it couldn't. So you used this excuse of saying, "Oh, we just grew apart." You didn't grow apart. You just didn't have that connection, that we was just talking about. You chose to ignore that you didn't have a connection. So you just probably because most of the time that has to do with somebody who you just started off in the wrong space with that person. So
yeah.
you choose to ignore all the bad stuff and just focus on the good parts of it, and not seeing that you don't have no connection or anything like that. So that's but as far as having patience with one another, you do have to be patient with people because the person that you're with is constantly growing. They're constantly becoming and growing who they are and being more of
Yeah.
who they are every day, and being in their purpose, walking in their purpose and the plan that
Yes.
God has for them. That takes that's a constant from glory to glory thing.
Yeah, that's next on our list is
Yeah, it's purpose.
purpose. And like I was saying, with the which part was I saying with the whole, or do they, oh yeah, connection, do they connect to your, align to your purpose?
Yeah.
Are they really part of this journey that God has for you? That's what it comes down to. And plus also, what is your purpose with this person? Are you just together because you just want to have fun,
Right.
or are you you want something serious?
Yeah,
Like
that comes with the
that comes with the,
honesty thing too.
yeah, like I feel like millennials, well, our generation, that we're talking about.
That's where the trust issues come
Yeah,
in to, because you're not being honest, you're not laying down that foundation of where
yeah,
what you two are looking for. Are you just having fun with that person right now? You're just trying to get to know who they are.
yeah,
What are you doing with that person? I think that's how people feelings get hurt. I think that's
yeah,
how people become bitter and angry. You know,
yeah. And I also, with the purpose, I want to get back to the purpose that we're talking about. That, um, like, yeah, you need to make sure you know what you want, like, and also pray on what your purpose is. That's how you will know. And also being connected to the right people
yeah.
can help you on the path towards your purpose. Because at one point in my life, I did question my purpose, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, why am I on Earth? What am I supposed to be doing? And
Mhm.
who, actually, I also thought about, who am I supposed to be with?
Mhm.
And I end up with you, John. I didn't know I was going to be with you like this.
Mhm.
This was unexpected.
Yeah.
So, like, and I know you're definitely part of my purpose. You're part of
Yes.
that.
Same.
It's
Yeah.
aligned. It's aligned. No,
Mhm.
I know. I was trying to be funny,
Mhm.
but yeah, like, just need to evaluate. If you follow our list, well, you can make your own. You can make your own, but if you follow this list, maybe, possibly, that you can finally find someone, you
Yeah.
know, that will be right for you, and that will only work if you include God in it. If God's not in it, then it's not gonna work out. I'm sorry to say that, but it's not. Maybe some people may disagree with that, but I'm keeping
I
it
mean, unless
honest.
them two are atheists, but other than that,
Well, so you're saying everybody else has is a promising for them.
You're talking about to Christian people, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about if someone else believes in something else, then it's still promising that they can figure it out. Possibly.
Well,
they believe in something,
I mean, of course, marriages have worked, based on if they have an idea of, okay, we fit each other because we make this amount of money. Your career helps my career. We can build this together. Some people just know what their foundation is on. So I believe if you have some kind of foundation, Christians.
Oh, that's where it goes back to foundation.
Yeah, Christians, of course, solid your foundation needs to be God. But for anybody else, you just have to have a foundation, of what your relationship is. What are you building that on? Some people really, like I said, some people really just build their foundation on we're two successful people. Yeah. And it just works out like that. Yeah. Some people don't even really be in love. They just know that the marriage is gonna work can work out because they like, oh, you're rich, I'm rich, you're a lawyer, I'm a doctor. It just works out for us to be together.
So you're basically saying that even though God's not in it, it can still work out.
Well, if they don't believe in God in the first place,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I mean, is this truly what should happen though?
Well, no, everybody should. I would encourage everybody to believe in believe in God. I wasn't saying no. I wasn't saying that. I don't know if it.
You see all these successful people, but who don't believe in God,
but
or who don't have
people
God.
Who, if you already have God, Jesus, and God in your life, and you try to not include Him, now it's not going to work. But if you don't profess to believe in God and everything, the enemy doesn't really have anything to fight you on. Really, he's not really worried about you. I mean, not saying that they're not going to go through anything, but I would say that marriage can probably work because if they don't have God in their life, but only because they don't already believe. But if you're a believer and you think that you're just going to get away with not having God in your life and your marriage, then you think you're not going to include Him. Yeah. Then it's not going to work because you're not including Him and you're in a relationship with Him. It's one thing if you you never really had a relationship with Him and you're just doing things on your own. That's different. But that's what I mean by that. If you're with God and you believe in God, you believe in Jesus being the Son of God, and you're not including Him in your marriage, then it's not gonna work out. But if you're an atheist and you've never really known God, then of course it can still work based on whatever foundation you didn't build for yourself. Yeah. But for Christian people, if you're not going to include God in it, it's not going to work.
Well, how about? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, because anything that you don't include God in, when you have a relationship with Him, anything that you're not including with Him is not gonna work. Anything that you put before Him that you don't include Him in is not gonna work.
I have a question though. So, what about people who have different religious beliefs? They believe in something, right? Because you was talking about just atheists.
Yeah, but so that same thing kind of, I think the same thing kind of applies again. Oh, okay. So, again, you can build your foundation on something else. If they don't have that relationship with Jesus Christ. But if you already have your relationship with Jesus Christ and you know better than to not include Him, then it's not going to work out for you. But if somebody who just don't really know no better,
But it is true that if you don't, but if you do believe in God, that you get all the blessings.
Yes.
That you're meant to get. So just putting it out there. Just saying. Just laying it out there.
Yeah.
So that's up to y'all how y'all want to receive that.
Next time, whether it's Pod VCom or whatever other
Well, hopefully
group
we'll
it
be
is.
a part of other conventions because that did not work. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't meant to work out.
It's all right.
No, I was excited. I mean, at least we know it's like stuff like that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, this was live. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this on my Facebook for people who's on my Facebook, but I'll definitely probably keep it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Though. So
I'll keep it on Facebook. I already shared it.
Oh,
on mine. Yeah.
Okay.
For those who follow me, friends with me, they can see.
I might keep maybe a couple of days. I don't know.
Yeah. So why not? Just we usually don't go live anyways. We only did what 2 times? Because we did it before last year. We did it.
Yeah. So
and So that's it.
That's it.
That's it. So we'll see you guys on our next episode of which is next weekend. We'll be dropping an episode. But until then, you can enjoy this live and also catch up on our episodes that we already have out. Yes, everywhere. You can listen to it anywhere you want. Everywhere. And share, and spread the word about us because we about to be doing some big things. Just saying.
Yes. So this has been another episode.
No, this has been
a
live episode.
A live episode.
I don't even know what to say. We always say our little thing. So
this has been a live
episode of CJ Honesty.
Peace.
Bye.